The ultimate fraud on Michigan's consumers is to have a toothless Consumer Protection Act on the books, an act that has been deemed worse than ineffective because the name alone deceives our people into thinking that they are protected when they are not. In 1976, Michigan was considered a leader in consumer protection. Now our people are treated like second-class citizens. And in an economic crisis, perhaps now more than ever, it's imperative that we protect the victims. And who are those victims? I know my colleagues have said it very well, but it's worth reiterating. The victims are the consumers in our state and the legitimate, upstanding businesses in our state. In 1976, Michigan was known as a state that had cutting-edge consumer protections. And the Supreme Court ruled in 1999, and it took away all the protections for our people. So we need to put the teeth back in the Consumer Protection Act.
I spent over 10 years when I was Assistant Attorney General in charge of consumer protection in Frank Kelly's office, trying to get a consumer protection law for our state. 10 years. It was very difficult. We ultimately obtained the majority of the major businesses of this state supporting the law. This is a case where you see a Supreme Court who contends that they will only follow the dictates of what's written on the piece of paper called a statute. And we're not going to become legislators, and we're not going to legislate from the bench. But that's exactly what they did. They legislated from the bench. So now this Consumer Protection Act, which took me 10 years to get adopted, is no longer of any meaning in our state.
I've tried everything I can to avoid a lawsuit. I've gone through every avenue available to me as a consumer, and now I have no choice but to get a lawyer. And within a week of them removing it to the higher court where I have to pay for a lawyer, I got a settlement offer for pittance from them. And that tells me they're just trying to intimidate me to say, hey, you know, do you want to pay law fees or do you want to accept this kind of crummy settlement? So I'm not a person who wants to go to court. I just want to get what I paid for. That's all.